Good afternoon, everybody. This is Hunter Mozingo bringing you your daily market insight video for Monday, August 30th. It is 4:06 p.m. Eastern Time here in Jacksonville, Florida. So just a few minutes after market close. And in today's video, I've got a few forgotten stocks that are starting to set up nicely. I want to cover those and show you those stocks. That's going to be towards the end of the video. Additionally, we're going to look at what interest rates are doing, what the dollar's doing. We're going to look at one monster gap up on a huge news headline, as well as some other leading stocks and sectors. Before we do that, let's talk about what just happened. And that's big tech leading the market higher, small caps lagging. We're going to get into the charts of some of those big tech stocks, some of which are starting to maybe break out a little bit. And the small caps lagging, we're going to see that that's really attributable to two sectors later on in the video as well. So the G5 index, your growth index, up 0.44% today, about the same as the S&P, up 0.43. QQQ up a little over 1%. Dow down just a little bit, 0.16. Midcaps down about 1/5%, and Russell 2000 down about 0.5%. The market state remains in an uptrend, and the trend gauge remains the same as Don's video on Friday. No material changes to that based on the action today. Before we get into the charts, as I always do, please email me if you have any questions on the video, on any of the stocks I cover, any of the four forgotten stocks I cover today. Please email me if you have any questions. If you're interested in what it is that Revere does, what our investment approach is, our strategy, please email myself, or you can email Dan, Don, Alex, Tim, or Meryl at revereasset.com as well. So let's get to the charts, folks. We're going to go through the S&P here first, and I got you a little sneak peek of Nucor there. But the S&P here, getting a little bit extended, not crazy, but approaching 2% from the 21, 3.5 from the 50. That's not absurd. That's kind of where we stayed at for the duration of this run here, if you can see that. But a little bit extended, strong move through this 450 area on SPY today. That's pretty encouraging. So nice action for the S&P. The Qs, obviously the leader today. A lot of that is because of big tech leading. Very strong move here from the Qs, closed above 380, following up this little tap of the 8 EMA with two really strong days from the Qs. Now also starting to get into that borderline extended range, almost 3% from the 21, almost 5% from the 50. Not absurdly extended by any means, but once the Qs start to get 5 to 7%, that's when you start to maybe want to be a little bit more cautious, or at least be aware of the fact that they are extended. IWM, the laggard today, we talked about that. Two sectors really driving that: KRE, that's your banks, XOP, which is your oils. We're going to look at those charts here in a little bit as well, but nothing wrong with this. A big move to get through this area here on IWM last week, and this 225 area sitting right where it should. If 225 can flip to support, that would be absolutely great for IWM. MDY, pretty much same story, do nothing. Strong moves, very tight day, just slightly down on MDY as it approaches all-time highs here, not very far from it at all. And lastly, the Dow, which has kind of been the slowest moving, but it's still inching higher here, down just a little bit today, but still holding on slightly above the 8 and above the 21. Really, IWM, MDY, DIA not extended at all. The Qs are the most extended, SPY a little bit behind them. So let's look at TLT really quick. I just want to highlight this, as it looks like TLT is resuming its uptrend here. You can see the washout to the 50 here on TLT. We bounced up, came back, retested the 50 again, and have bounced since. This morning, we were actually down on TLT coming into the day, as you can see here. This morning, we were down about 1/3% or so, and really rallied more or less all day in TLT to finish slightly green, which once again, when TLT is up, that means rates or yields are down, which is possibly part of the reason that banks were underperforming today. Additionally, we have UUP, which is the dollar, had a big move down on Friday here. Today, also pretty weak, finished at the bottom of the range. Not obviously, this doesn't move very much, as you can tell by the chart, but this is a pivotal point for the dollar. This 2480-ish area, 2480, 84, as you can see here. So also corresponding to the 50-day moving average. Let's get into some of the leading stocks here. Affirm, huge gap up, nearly 50% on an announcement that they are going to be partnering / working with Amazon. One of those gap ups that has massive volume and price action. Add it to your radar for sure. Earnings in 10 days on this one. Amazon, I mentioned big tech. We're going to run through a few of these here. Amazon, a really strong day, almost all the way back up to the 50. Microsoft, also up 1.5%, and almost a bounce off the 21 back over that 300 level. Apple breaking out over this 150, 151 area. This is a really strong move for Apple here, and some decent volume. Not crazy, but decent volume here on Apple as well. And also Tesla, breaking out a little bit as well, trying to closing above this 729.90 pivot here. I'd keep a close eye on this one above 730. It can really go. It may not be ready. It may be, but certainly have to watch this one over 730 here. A few more. Unity Software, one of the dirty 30 I covered in a video a few weeks back. Another name I covered there was DraftKings. We're going to look at that one next, but Unity basically bounced off the 21, didn't quite get there. Back above the 8, nice action today with volume. You can see the pullback has been on lighter volume than the buying days. That is really good volume patterns for Unity here since this breakout. DraftKings was another one of those dirty 30 names, down a little bit today, but you can see this is constructive action here as it flags a little bit after this move up to 60. The 8-day will start catching up here probably around the middle of this week. You'll see that 8-day start to get closer to 60. 21 is hooking through the 200, so nothing wrong with DraftKings as it digests about a 20% move really over the course of 3 or 4 days. Additionally, the other dirty 30 was Palantir. This one was, well, I will take this one off as there is some technical difficulties going on here with MarketSmith, and we will move on to Dick's Sporting Goods. Palantir also was up this morning. I know the chart was messed up. It was up earlier, finished relatively weak, but Palantir is resuming its uptrend, starting to look a little bit better as the days go on. Dick's Sporting Goods, great follow through since the earnings gap up. Volume here on this one as well, not really even giving you a chance if you didn't buy the gap up here on DKS. Just a few more here. DOCS, this is owned in-house. Still having some chart issues, and I apologize for that. But once again, reclaiming the 8, putting in a lower low, and that is something I want to point out on DraftKings here. DraftKings, after this strong move up to 60 here, has made a higher low each of the last 3 days. So just something to watch there. You can see how those lows are trending higher. And lastly, ETHE having a really nice day, approaching this 3270 high here. ETHE much stronger than GBTC today. You can see GBTC was pretty much flat. That's your Bitcoin versus Ethereum there, but both looking relatively constructive. And lastly, your leading sectors here, XLK and XLRE today, really strong. So let's go to these forgotten stocks. And the reason I say forgotten is because they're not the focus of the investment world, right? They're not the NVIDIAs or the Teslas or those types of names, but these are names that have been really strong throughout the year and are setting up relatively well. So this is Lennar. What I would say is probably one of, if not the leading home builder name, but you can see the cup and handle recognition here. You can see back above the 21 and the 8 and getting tight as it pretty much has gone sideways for the last 4 days here. Above that 100 level, which is important as always. But Lennar not looking bad, only about $2 or $3 from these 110 highs here. I'd keep a close eye, and I'll do it with you guys and set an alert here at 110. I want to know about that, and I also want to know if it gets over all of these highs, which is pretty much going to be 109. So 109 is a little bit of a early alert to the 110 possibly. The next stock you're going to see here is going to be FCX. So we've talked about the steel names in exhaustion, and rightfully so. They've been very strong this year, particularly Nucor and STLD. However, FCX is a copper name that was really one of the leading stocks last year. I mean, you can see this run on the left-hand side of your screen from 15 over here in September, October, all the way up to 45 in April. But this one has been digesting a strong move. You can see It looked like it was getting ready to go, washed a lot of people out, I'm sure, here, undercut the 200, but back above these moving averages. I would just keep a watch on this one. As you can see, they're all curling, the 8, the 21, and the 50, starting to curl upward. If you possibly get a little bit of consolidation here around this 35 to 36 level and start to see some volume come in, FCX could prove to be worth watching as well, or maybe worth a position. Another name here, I've actually got 5. I think I told you I had 4. I've got 5. So this is X United States Steel. I think your risk reward is very good here. This is right on the 21, a poor day today after being green early this morning. But you can see the double bottom pattern being picked up here, right on the 21, after building a little bit of a handle to a degree after running up and touching this 30 level here. So I would just keep a close eye on it. I really would want to see this low hold, this 26.37 right here, and start to see some action back up towards the 29.30 range. But certainly the leader in this space is Nucor. Also finished weaker. Nucor was up closer to 2 or 3%, but this is a beautiful looking chart. The volume patterns look better than they do on X. Nucor is the leader. It's just a little bit more extended at the moment. And one more, actually 2 more, Enphase. This is a solar company. It was one of the first solar companies to really come back to life after the harsh sell-off following the January and February top in this sector. And this one is a little bit of a laggard right now compared to FSLR and SEDG, Solar Edge. So both of these are looking a little bit better at the moment, just in regards to being through all their moving averages. But keep a close watch on Enphase here. If it can get through this 178 level and clear 180, it's trying to get back above these moving averages. You can see the 21 and the 8 starting to curl back under the 50 there. I would keep just a watch to see if this trend upwards can continue. If we can push through 180, I actually will set an alert here with you at 180 on Enphase. And last name here, Home Depot, reclaiming the moving averages today, although it finished relatively poorly. This one had a big move up from really the lows in February when growth stocks were doing their poorest to right here around 510. So Home Depot slightly picking up a little bit. Home Depot has a tendency to do relatively well following big hurricanes. That's something you could look into as well. And the last couple of things here, KRE and XOP, I mentioned those being laggards on IWM today. You can see the action on KRE given all the gains back from the previous day, and XOP also, excuse me, let's get that up there. XOP also down 2% today. So that was, excuse me, the big laggard dragging on IWM or the Russell 2000 today. So that will wrap up the video, everybody. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please email me, hunter@revereasset.com. If not, enjoy your week. Best of luck investing and trading. I'll see you on the podcast this weekend, and I'll see you on Thursday's video. Have a great week, everybody.